and we can just dance the night away until we...
Hello. Welcome to DeeLighted-In-Life. Welcome to Dee's segment on what am I doing on my Wednesday reflections. So it's Wednesday reflections today. So the last 2 weeks I've been talking about relationships and dating and things like that, and regrets and barriers and pitfalls and stuff like that. So I thought that this week I would talk about my dating. Not necessarily talking about the DL of who I've dated or anything like that. I'm not going to give you all of that. Maybe another day. But not today. But I'm going to get ready. So I'm going to do my makeup as I talk to you. So the first thing I'm going to do is people have asked me what makeup I'm using. And so I thought, let me tell you that first. Okay. So I use this mascara. It is a Rimmel mascara. It's called Day to Night. And I've been using it for about 10 years. I love it because it's got two wands in it. So one lengthens and one gives it volume. So it's fantastic. And I just think, like, my eyelashes are not short, although on this video they kind of look short, but they're not short. But this lengthens and thickens, so it's fabulous. And then I use a mascara. Actually, no, hang on. I use a foundation. I should have got a new one. The whole signage has gone off of this one. But basically this is, it's called Vital Makeup, and it is a cream to powder and really inexpensive. I just get that from the hair shop. Oh, I forgot to say that the mascara is about $7.99 or $8.99. I get that from Boots, Superdrug, any chemist, to be honest. Then I use this kind of it's got four. I'm ashamed to show it to you because it's almost done. I'm not going to show you the inside. But it's basically got 4 colours in here. And my daughter got this for me. I think she got it from Primark. And then I am using a lipstick that I use from Rimmel. And this is this lipstick here. And it's called Stay My Rose. And I think it's got a number on there as 160. So that's the lipstick that I put on. Well, that's what I'm wearing today, actually. And then I'm going to put this one on. So this is a gold one that I got from Shein. And I know it's garish, but I really love this little bottle. And it's got a number on it, which is 108. £2 from Shein. And it's called a lip glaze. So it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the other thing I put on is my Mary Kay concealer. So I've already got my concealer on. I've already got my foundation on. And so when we start talking, I'm going to put on the other things, the other bits and pieces. So, okay, let's start with the eyeshadow while I'm talking to you. So, okay, dating. I like to use dating sites because I think that they are efficient, they are convenient, and you get an opportunity to meet people in lots and lots of different places. So I'm originally from South London. I don't live in South London now, but I'm originally from South London, and I don't often get out of South London, or I didn't often get out of South London. I live in Kent now. But what I really like about the dating site is that you can meet people in North London. You can meet people in East London. You can meet people in West London. You can meet people in Manchester and Birmingham and wherever else you want to meet them. So for me, it is a really good way of actually getting to meet people that you would not necessarily encounter walking down the road going to the shop, or you would not necessarily encounter going out raving, or you would not necessarily encounter just in the kind of normal day-to-day socialising that you do. So I think it's a great option, a really good thing to do. Now, I'm old school, so I am not really about doing that kind of approaching men. I'm 59 years old. It's not how I grew. I don't know how to do it. But online, I'm a little bit better. I'm still kind of thinking the kind of men that I want to talk to me, I kind of want them to be confident. I want them to be kind of go-getters. So for me, that means that ultimately they're going to be approaching me. They're going to be liking what they see, and they're going to say, yep, Dee looks fabulous. Let's introduce ourselves. But occasionally if a striking profile catches my eye, if I'm liking what they've written, if I'm liking the cut of their jib, then I might send a little cheeky message. So I might say, I'm loving the salt and pepper beard, or something like that. So going backwards a little bit, the websites that I generally use Zoosk. I mean, I think that they are fantastic. So I've met a few people on there, and I'm okay. You might say, well, yeah, Dee, but you're not actually still with them, are you? Yeah, but okay. But why I'm recommending Zoosk is because I think, generally speaking, the people on there are looking for relationships. So if you're looking for a relationship, I think it's a good option. I think there are other dating sites where people are more about looking for hookups, looking for that kind of transient thing. But if you're looking for a long-term relationship, I think a lot of the people on Zoosk are looking for that too. Now, don't get me wrong. You may come across people who proposition you for other things, but as long as you are explicit on your profile about what it is that you're looking for, then you can kind of weed that out a little bit to a certain extent, and then you can always block and delete. You know, block is a fantastic thing, isn't it? The block button. I discovered it some time ago and I love it. So, but yeah, on your dating profile, actually, I'm jumping around. Let me go back to approaching people on my dating profile. So I think, yeah, you kind of, actually, no, let me go forward. When you do your dating profile, you have to write about yourself, and you have to fill in, you can fill in some questionnaires, or you can just write all about yourself. And one of the things I always do is put down all the things that I think make me unique. And then I also put down the things that I am looking for in a match. So, for instance, I'm a very feminine woman, and I embrace my femininity hugely. So therefore, I'm really clear that I'm looking for a man who embraces his masculinity. So I would certainly put that on my profile. Equally, I know that, you know, first impressions count. And so I want to be giving the right impression from my profile pictures and from what I say. So back in the day, I was a woman who enjoyed sharing, or shall I say sharing, who enjoyed kind of, I had the legs out of doors, I had the chest out of doors, let's be frank, yeah? I'm a woman of a certain age now, and not just that, I'm a baptized woman, and I don't necessarily want to always display my chest, and if I feel like it, I will, but, you know, I don't do it all the time. But on my profile, it's something I would never do, because ultimately, if someone sees pictures of you and, you know, you have got a lot out of doors, then you might get some propositions that you don't want. You might get people thinking that you are here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah? So, but if that's what you're looking for, well, it's all good. Absolutely. But if you're looking for something a little bit more, if you're looking for a long-term situation, then you need to kind of set your intentions and do that from how you do your description of yourself, but also how you present yourself in terms of your pictures. Also, in terms of pictures, I always put full-length pictures because I'm a plus-size woman. I don't want people just looking at my face to say, oh, hey, well, her face looks small-ish. Well, not necessarily, not the chins, but, you know. I want them to be able to see that I'm a plus-size woman. I'm a full-figured woman, you know. So I need them to see that. So, because I think there's nothing worse than when you go on a date and you meet someone and they looked fabulous in the photographs, but the photographs did not tell the true picture. And then you meet them and... yeah, they're a little bit different. I remember years ago, I went to go and meet this guy, and he told me he was 6'2". Now, to be frank, I'm equal opportunities. I will date you if you're tall, if you're short, if you're in between, if you are slim, if you are round, if you're muscly, if you're athletic. I am not, you know, I equal opportunities. I'll do it. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's all about the personality for me. A little bit about the face. But this guy said to me he was 6'2", and we were having this wonderful conversation. We spoke online, and then we had text messages and things like that. Anyway, I was going to go and meet him. Where was I meeting him? London Bridge. I was meeting him at London Bridge. Got to London Bridge, and I was stood there waiting. I was there a bit early, and I stood there waiting. There was a guy across the way from me. kind of kept looking over, you know. But I'm like, well, that's not him, because this guy's about 5'8", right? And the guy that I'm meeting is 6'2", but the face looked a little bit familiar. So I was thinking, do I know him from somewhere? Is this somebody I've known before? Is this somebody I've met before? Anyway, standing there for about 20 minutes, he eventually comes over to me, this guy. He says to me, are you Dee? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, I'm so-and-so. And I was like, sorry? What do you mean you're so-and-so? And he said, yeah. And I said to him, but you are, you know, you said that you were 6'2" and you are not 6'2". And he said, well, you know, sometimes women, you know, they're a little bit kind of prejudicial about people of my height. So I thought that I would give you you know, tell you that I'm taller, and then I would kind of explain it when I see you. And I said to him, look, do you know what? I have got no problem with people who are your height at all, but I do have problems with people who don't tell me the truth, who lie to me. And I said, for me, starting a relationship on a lie is not going to work for me. So I said, look, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to go. So I didn't go on the date, and I went home, because for me, that you've got to be truthful about who you are, you know, because also if you're not truthful about who you are, then you don't give the other person choices, so you don't take away their choices. But also, it's just not great. It's just not to be honest. You need to be honest about who you are and about what you want, because then you don't get what you want. If you're not honest, how on earth are you going to get what you want, what you're seeking, what you're looking for? And I'm a great believer in just like saying it. So my mum used to say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Be direct, be open, and I am direct, I'm open. I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying to me, I don't know how you're doing this vlog. You are so like sharing a lot. And I said, look, sometimes people say, oh, do you know what? I'm a really private person, very private person. I'm not. Clearly I'm not, right? I'm going to share, but I'm only going to share what I feel comfortable sharing. I'm not necessarily going to get too deep, because that might make me uncomfortable. It might make you uncomfortable. So I will share what I'm going to share. So I say all that to say, be transparent and open about who you are. You don't need to give chapter and verse. You don't need to give all of the detail. You don't need to tell them when you was a small child of 3 years old and this happened and that happened. No, but you do need to be true to yourself in order for that person to then have a choice about whether or not you sound like somebody that they would match with, because ultimately that's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone who shares our values, who shares our views about life, who shares similar interests, who has a similar way of operating. We're not going to get someone who's exactly like us, but we can get someone who's very similar to us. Let me just carry on doing my makeup. Sorry, I'm chatting so much that I forgot to do the makeup again. What am I trying to do next? I am trying to put on lipstick. That's it. So I wrote down some bits and pieces, and I don't normally do that, but I'm going to see if I can look to see what I actually wrote down. So I try and hit the points I wanted to hit, you know. So as I say, in my normal life, I don't necessarily approach men, but I do on online. And so but if I don't feel like sending that first message, I do just like click on them and do a like, you know, a little wink or a little smiley face or something like that. So I've expressed my interest. I've said, I'm interested in you, possibly. You know, you couldn't talk to me. So I will do that, yeah. And it's really lovely. I love online dating. I cannot tell you how much I love it. Because I do it in my nightie. Don't really have any rollers anymore, but I used to do it with my rollers in. Sitting on my night, cup of tea, fantastic. Just scrolling through the online selection. It's absolutely fantastic. So I think that it is a good way of talking to people. I mean, I think that because there are lots and lots of people who use online dating, you might start talking to someone and then suddenly they disappear because they've got a better offer. Or sometimes, you know, I might be talking to someone, I think, oh, well, actually there's somebody else I'm talking to who seems like more of a match for me. But I will be polite and I will say to the person that I might have been conversing with, do you know what? I found somebody to talk to who may be a bit more of a match for me. So I like to be respectful in that way. So yeah, as I say, online dating is an absolutely fantastic thing. I think that there are some red flags, which I will talk about in terms of the first date. I'm going to do that next week in terms of the red flags. But in terms of the first communication you have on online dating, I would always ask the person if they're single. Ask them. Now, you might think, Oh, but they're on a dating site. Of course they're single. Why would they be if they have a wife? They're not going to be on a dating site. Wrong. Wrong. Let me just tell you, wrong. I ask the question every single time, either in a text message or in the first conversation, are you single? And I've had variations of no. So I've had, it's complicated. Sort of. But it's soon ending, yeah, all of that, yeah. But you can tell sometimes just from that pause, that initial pause that you get. And I'm sorry, I'm 59 years old. I am not about to be the side chick. I'm not about to be the side piece. I'm not about to be any of those things. That's not the life. That's not my life. That's not who, I'm not going to be doing that. And I'm no judgment, yeah, no judgment. But for me, that's not for me. So I will always ask that question. So I would say to you, that's the very first thing you need to do is ask, are you single? I'm just going to have a quick look at my note. Just bear with me 1 second because I don't want to miss. Now, I know last time I didn't bother to look on in notes, but I just kind of want to make sure I don't say anything that I don't miss anything. Okay. So if you are going to go on that very first date, so exciting that very first date, you find your right outfit, you agonize about what you're going to put on, and it's all very, very exciting. I always recommend going for a hot chocolate. If you drink coffee, obviously go for a coffee or a tea. But I think you don't want to be trapped with someone who you don't know very well and who may not be a good match for you. So I always think, so you don't want to be trapped in a whole long dinner situation or a whole long lunch situation. Also, I'm not about spending other people's money, and I'm old school, so I do want my date to pay for me, at least in the initial stages. So I'm hoping they can afford a cup of hot chocolate. So, so I'll be like, let's go for chocolate, and then if the hot chocolate, coffee, tea goes well, then they might say to you, oh, should we do lunch? Should we do dinner? And you might move in the evening, might progress, and carry on longer. But always, I will say like hot chocolate, cup of tea, coffee for your very first date. Always meet in a public place. Always meet in a public place. I think I've had over the years people suggesting to me that they really want to get to know me. They really want to have that one-to-one conversation with me. They really want to just find out who Dee is. And they feel like they could do that best in my yard. No. Or they feel like they can do that best in their yard. No. We've got to be safe, ladies. We've got to be safe. It doesn't matter what connection you feel like you've got. It doesn't matter how much you feel like that person is safe. We don't know them. We don't know them from Adam. So we've got to be safe. So they're not coming to your yard and you're not going to theirs. Dee told you. All right. So keeping it safe. Now, the final thing that I wanted to say about online dating is have fun. Have fun. I've had the most joke, and I'll tell you more about it next week. When I tell you about the red flags, I'm going to give you some examples of the red flags. I'm going to give you some examples of the joke situations that I've been in and the absolute disasters. But I have kept my sense of humour intact. This has seriously been funny. Seriously. And I want you to have fun with it. So if you are going to step your toe in the online dating situation and you want any help creating your profile, tell me down in the comments. I will help you. It will be so much fun. I love writing profiles for that. So it'd be fabulous. But pinch of salt, take everything with a pinch of salt, and keep your sense of humour intact, because you will need it. Trust me on that. You will need the sense of humour. Because some people, you have an opportunity on the online dating to meet the world, to meet so many different types of people that you wouldn't normally encounter. And because of that, you get a section of society that you might not normally meet and you might normally want to avoid. But if you can keep the sense of humour, then it's all good. It's all good. So thank you so much for listening to me whilst I get ready. I will take a picture of the outfit of the day. I've just got a little pink jumper on today and some jeans and I will show you that. I think I showed you probably the shoes I'm wearing, because when I nip out to the shops, it's probably going to be the same shoes that I had on the other day. My Pavers, my blue little lace-ups. Love them, love them, love them. So, as I say, if you enjoyed listening to me talking about dating, then please, please, please tune in next week, where we're going to be talking about red flags. And if you want to be part of this kind of my YouTube family, then please subscribe, and please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please hit that notification button, which will tell you when I have posted something new. So I'm just gonna take the hair out, do my thing, put a bit of conditioner in, all of that, and then I will show you a picture. I might do a little video, who knows. But for now, I just want to say thank you. Really, really appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Take very good care. Bye-bye. Hiya, I came back because there was just something I wanted to add. I was talking about dating sites, and I was maybe making the assumption that everybody knows about them, that everybody's safe with them, everyone's cool with them, and I know some people aren't. So I just wanted to say that dating sites are a tool. They are just a tool. So, you can meet people in other ways. And the same way that you do your due diligence if you met someone in a pub or a club or a bar, you do the same thing on a dating site. But the dating site is just an opportunity for you to meet people in a slightly different way. But I have been using dating sites for a really long time, and they are safe as long as you're safe, as long as you remember all of the things that you need to do to make yourself stay safe. But I absolutely adore them. I absolutely love them. I think they're a wonderful thing to use. I think there was one other thing that I wanted to say, and I'm trying to remember what it is. I hope it comes back to me. Oh yes, I remember. So when you're doing your profile, it asks you to link to all your social media stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say no. Say no. Because that means that person is able to get far more information about you than you would want a stranger to have. So don't link it to the social media profile. If it insists that you do that as part of the sign up, then just say go along. That's not for you. That one's not for you. You can go to a different site. As I say, I recommend Zusk. If the person asks you for your full name, and you want to give it and you feel comfortable doing that, then that's fine. I would ask them for their full name then. And then, you might want to Google, a little sneaky Google, just to, find out if there's anything there. But don't link it to your social media profile. It's not a good idea. You don't want all of that information in the hands of a stranger yet. Yeah, until you've got to know them. Anyway, just wanted to pop back on to say that. And have a blessed day. Have a wonderful day. Take very good care. Bye-bye.
And we can just dance the night away.